So the next part of this lesson is to create a gradient for our poster. A gradient is a graphic effect consisting of a smooth blend, change, or transition from one color to another. Okay, a smooth blend of colors. So in our situation, let me go up here, back to the poster, it shows us that the background, it goes from purple to yellow and back to purple again, and there's like it's faded, it's not super stark, like the band of yellow and the purple blend, and so that is why it's called a gradient. It gradually goes from purple to yellow and then gradually goes from yellow to purple again. And so we're going to be going over how to use the tool. I think I did not save my actual file. Remember how in the last lesson we just created a new document like that, and even though you name it, it doesn't matter. You have to, well, you can name it, but now you still have to save it. It's not saved yet until you actually go save. So file, save, and then I'm going to save it to my desktop because that's where I like to put things temporarily, and I do move them later. Otherwise my desktop would be super chaotic. But I just like knowing where things are that I'm working on in the moment. So let's see. The gradient tool is right here. It's like pretty much in the very middle of your toolbar, and the shortcut for it is right on the side here. It says G for gradient. Most of the shortcuts are like that. Like if the tool starts with B for brush, it's B for brush. So like over here, and so G for gradient. They also have the paint bucket tools underneath. They're also the shortcut G. So some items are not that simple. You just have to know what they go with. They pair the gradient tool with the paint bucket because they pretty much do the same thing. The paint bucket and the gradient fill whatever selection you have, or if you don't have anything selected, they'll fill the whole layer that you are active. Like right now I only have one layer, so if I fill the gradient, it's going to fill this entire layer. Okay, so right now if I go up to my tool options bar, which is this up top, and that always changes, like I said earlier, with whatever tool I've clicked. So if I go back to a different tool, for example my rectangular marquee tool, then it totally switches to all those options. So I'm going to go back to my gradient tool. Now I want to just explain the different types of options that you have for your gradient tool. The first one here is the color picker, the gradient editor. So if I click right here in anywhere in this swatch, it automatically pops up the gradient editor window, and it's here that you can determine what colors the gradient will be. I'm going to get back to that in just a second. Here you have the different gradient styles. This determines what shape your gradient's gonna gradient the direction of it and the shape that it's going to create. So for example, I think I better just demonstrate. Let's see. If I pick the default, which is just gray to white to black, black to gray to white, I guess, and then I just drag across my screen. All I did was click and drag. It filled it from black to white. And then if I choose, okay, if I go Control D, and then I choose the radial gradient, and I click in the center and go out, it's loading. Because this file is so big, it's going to take a while to load. And then it does a gradient that's in a circle. It's a radial gradient. Okay, Control Z that. Then I can try, this one is called, if I hover over it, it'll tell me angled gradient. It's like this kind of square radial gradient. Looks like this. Control Z. And then this one over here is called the reflected gradient. This is the one they use in the book. So it does it goes from one color and then it changes in the